Okay. Hello out there in radio land. It's a Maytag repair tips, and what I'm going to explain to bring the comments up to date is it's pretty much self-explanatory when you get to working on these engines. The only hole you need in this gasket here is the one right here at the bottom, and it's only that big. It's this size right here. This is a gasket cutter, and if you don't have a set of gasket cutters, by all means procure a set. This is the only holes you need in the gasket. This one, and then the 4 bolt holes. This one goes right here, just like that. Okay, and that hole right there is in alignment. That's where the air gas mixture goes into this engine. Make this gasket first, let it go down and rest on the bottom of the housing. You would say, why? The reason is this bottom gasket is 25 or 30 thousandths thick. By putting this one on first, you gain that much sealing surface, and that's quite important. It would have had a lead washer on the boat for sealing purposes, either a red brass or yellow brass screw, and these were very poor screws. I guess they figured you wasn't going to be taking them out that often, but anyways, that's just a little tidbit there that lead washers, and those deteriorate really bad. So what I do, because I don't do restorations as a rule, then I cut a paper gasket this size, just make a little paper washer, and I use gasket material. Back to this. That would go down like that. This bottom gasket would go here. Okay, would go like so. Now, if you are doing a restoration, these gaskets were left proud. They were die cut, and they were left as is. If you're doing a restoration, then you would leave those as is. But if you're just fixing a good running engine for yourself and you want it to look nice, then you can take a sharp blade and trim that gasket off to conform to the size of the mixer. It just looks better, but at that point, it's not restored. One of the comments that was in the comment section was how to adjust your gasoline mixture. The way you do that is you remove this pointer and you tighten up this screw right here until that bottom's out. Okay, you would open that, say 1 turn, and in what you're doing is when that's closed, that would be right there. Okay, when you turn it that 1 turn, you're putting it over here, but the adjustment on it and this setting right here will vary on almost every Maytag. Very few of them, 2 of them, will be the same on this setting right here. Now what you end up with should be exactly the same, and the way you reach that point is you would have your pointer off. This would be off. You'd start your engine and get it running, and make your adjustment here to where your engine runs best. At that point, you would put this back on, and this thing is serrated around the inside, and it'll fit them corners on your nut. That one's made on there. So you'd put that right in the middle, and then you put your nut back on there and tighten it up. On a 1-cylinder, when you get ready to shut it down, you can either close the fuel, the engine quit running, or either you can just leave that set in that straight up position and pull the kill rod to ground the spark plug. Either one seems to be acceptable in this situation. The reason for the pointer is you may need just this much adjustment one way or the other from center, and that's where this engine will be. It'll be individual as to where this setting is, and it may just be a half of a notch different. You will learn your engine as you run it. Move that up to upright and then tighten it up, and then you've got adjustment. That's the way you do that. There's no set rule, but that's the procedure. Now, you will need to take this mixer off occasionally, because the screen and the bottom of the check valve is really small mesh. I mean, it's extremely small for a reason. Most of them, when you take your Maytag apart, it'll be like this. Somebody has already dug the screen out. That's lacquer thinner, acetone. There's several things we'll clean that. This one, I took it out of an engine, and somebody had went to the fix, and they put a larger screen in there, mesh, and then soldered it around the edge. It seemed to work pretty good. That's a pretty good way to do that. The other check valve that you will encounter is this type, and it has a screen on the side, this being the two choices. You will find both of them in 2 cylinders or both of them in 1 cylinders, because they have been changed through the years. Now, the little ball, this particular one right here, has stainless is a decent replacement. Very small. When you take it apart, don't lose the steel ball. They're ready available at some hardware stores. The other check valve, this other type, this one, has a flat disc in it, such as that. Don't lose that little thing either, because you don't get this at the hardware store. And it does have a notch, a flat notch, filed on the side of it so that it doesn't check when it goes upwards. Be aware. The different gas tanks requires a different length pickup tube. And you can see here that someone, I took this out of an engine, and at one time it needed a longer, it had a different gas tank on it, this length. So they probably had a broken ear on their gas tank, replaced it with a different one, and used this. And what they did is they bent it in an offset so that it would be about a ½ an inch shorter than this one. You will find this quite often if they've replaced the gas tank. And a 2-cylinder, now I'm just going to throw this in there, I probably shouldn't, but this is the setup for the 2-cylinder. This is the little orifice, and that's the world's smallest little hole right there. Do not enlarge that hole. If you use this type check valve, then this notch in this tube is supposed to be downward to keep the little ball from checking on the upstroke. If you do not have that correct, your engine won't run. Like this right here, well, this one would work okay because this has got the flat disc in it. But this one, if this little tube here with the little ball in there did not have this slit in it, when it came up on that flat surface, it would check the gas on the upward stroke. Check that out. Make sure it's not your problem if you buying a junkyard engine.